Biden accused of ignoring victims and hero cops to heap praise on lawmakers pushing gun control. Biden welcoming the 3 Tennessee lawmakers who face expulsion after a rowdy protest at their state's capital. Biden using the event to slam Republicans.
What the Republican legislature did was shocking, it was undemocratic, and it was without any precedent. She's standing up for her kids, she's standing up for our communities, safe communities, and democratic values.
The Biden meeting is not the only thing getting attention. A New York Times columnist wants Americans to trade their guns for bear spray, arguing that it would be more effective at stopping a home invader. Charlie, you are familiar with bears. Is that going to work?
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. And it is kind of amazing.
In some cases, you're considered a bear.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. No, and anyone who lives in bear country can tell you that if you have the option, you're going to definitely want the gun. but also, he does this at a time when he's launching his campaign and talking about freedom. Well, there's no greater freedom, more important freedom than the freedom to be able to defend your family, defend your home using a gun. And but I love these guys that show up here. It's all undemocratic because they didn't get their way.
Yes.
It's not undemocratic because of, they stormed the building and it was an insurrection is what it was.
Yeah.
But it's all undemocratic because he didn't get his way.
Yeah, one of the things, Greg, that they said earlier today was that they get to the White House and they are trying to explain that, no, they actually did break the rules.
Yeah, they did.
They did break the rules. And then so the Republicans in Tennessee said, OK, here's what we're going to do. I'm not saying it was the smartest tactic because in the end, here you go. You have a photo op that benefits both Biden and the Tennessee 3.
Well, it's an important lesson in modern culture that performance is more important than people, right? Who cares about the families of the victims or the heroic cops that stop more carnage? They rewarded these hucksters for their stellar acting in a costume drama, because it was a costume drama. And this is the modern kind of left-wing party. The hyper-dramatic always wins, and substance doesn't matter. And how fitting is it that story, the spotlight is steered away from the cause of the shooting. It's not about the gun. It's about a disturbed person who is a member of a protected class, right? Whose manifesto is under lock and key. If she were wearing a MAGA hat, this would be an entirely different story.
Judge, what do you think about the White House doing this on their day where he announces his reelection, and you can just imagine that for the next 18 months, there's going to be a lot of box checking that's going on.
Yeah, well, this is the #1 box that he could have changed when he had the House and the Senate and the Oval, but it's all about guns. And I have to tell you, in one of the articles, the Democrats are saying we're caught in a spiral in which perceptions of rising crime lead more people to purchase firearms. Perceptions of rising crime. Crime is rising. Police are being defunded. I mean, the truth is people are not being arrested. They're not being prosecuted. They're not being convicted. And they're not being locked up at all. So they're saying that, we've got this perception issue and crime really isn't up. And so if you think you need a gun, you're stupid. So what I did was I checked out this bear spray. And the bear spray only lasts 7 to 9 seconds.
You don't have it on you now, do you?
No, and if I did, I would have used it in the A block. No, but the bear spray only lasts 7 to 9 seconds. So if you got a criminal coming at you with a knife in your home and it's like 3 in the morning, say, hang on, I got to get my hairspray.
You put the hairspray on me every day.
I mean, the whole thing is absurd.
The other thing is, we shouldn't lose sight of this. These 3 said they went to the Capitol to protest about gun violence, and there had been a horrific school shooting in Nashville at the Covenant Christian School, and those 6 people died. And the president didn't call them, and they didn't get invited to the White House. And Harold, when you have a president of the United States who now wants another 4 years in the office, what kind of message does that send to people who are victims of crime?
So I differ a little bit in the way we're talking about this. I do agree with one thing, that these 2 young men and this young lady, the other lawmaker, they broke the rules on the floor. It didn't warrant expelling them. They were trying to force the legislature to take up something on guns, and the leaders there, the Republican leaders in the State House, didn't want to do it, and they chose to take a bullhorn down. It was the wrong thing to do, but you don't expel someone. When I was in Congress, a lot of guys and women would have been expelled for some of the antics, maybe myself, for some of the antics that were perpetrated on the floor. Now,
What did you do on the
I
floor?
would love to know an antic that you
Yeah,
did.
Harold.
but we yelled at people, we yelled them down, we tried to gavel them down. But I mean, that's just, the passions got going. But here's where I agree with you and Dana. I'm a Second Amendment guy. I think people should be able to own guns, protect themselves. It's a constitutional right. But where I differ a bit is when we look at a different category of things. We talk about on this show, and we did yesterday, black-on-black crime. We talked about how crimes are generally perpetrated. Whatever race you are, it's generally someone of your own race that perpetrates that crime. But there's no doubt there's a lot of violence in terms of black-on-black crime. Now, ghost guns are an issue. We can say that some of the things that people are talking about doing, taking guns or new gun restrictions are the wrong way. But we are kidding ourselves if we believe that it's okay in some neighborhoods, in some communities, for it to be easier to get a gun than a new book, that it's easier to get a new gun than an education. You talked aptly and rightly so, you and Greg yesterday, Judge, and you have for a while, about the need for more quality education products and opportunities. I was at a great dinner here in New York last night at the Success Academy, something that some of my Democratic friends don't support. We have to be willing to do all of these things. But if we can only side with the things that we like or check the boxes that we like, then we're not going to deal with all of this. Ghost guns are a problem. That doesn't mean that that we should not allow people who obey the law, who don't beat their wives, who don't have a criminal record, that they should be able to have guns. But I'm a firm believer that children in neighborhoods in Chicago and Baltimore, my hometown in Memphis, in New York, we have to deal with this issue honestly and seriously.
Can I ask at the table, anybody who wants to answer, why do you think we don't have the manifesto yet from the Nashville shooter?
They said it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
Which means who's it dangerous to?
Right.
That's the question, and I think they would argue it's dangerous to the protected class and the agenda.
Do you think it could be that the manifesto might encourage or incite someone else to do
Possibly.
something around the country who
but
might feel the
we've
same?
released other manifestos. That is the point. Why is this being treated
I'm not protecting
differently?
that. I don't necessarily.
No,
I'm just saying, I agree with- I
So
agree with you.
given that, why is this manifesto being treated differently? Is it because of the person who wrote it? That is the question.
And why is it called a manifesto?
I mean, honestly, we got to change that language.
Yes.
We'll figure
Good
that out.
catch.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.